Now we will solve the activity. So here we have different pictures here. So here we have to mark all the natural resources. So we can see different stuffs here. Firstly, we have a cow. So we can't make cow. Cow are naturally born. So these are made by God. So this is natural resource. Then we have sun. Also, we can't produce sun. So sun is also a natural resource. Then we have a puzzle box. So it actually not made by it actually don't prevail naturally. So it's not natural resource. So let's cross it. Then we have house. House is man-made. So house is natural resource. Then we have ball. Ball. Okay. Sorry. House is actually made by human being. So it's actually not natural resource. It's man-made. Okay, then we have a ball. Ball is made by human being. It doesn't prevail naturally, so it's not a natural resource. Then we have some rocks. So rocks actually prevail naturally, so it's a natural resource. Then we have air. These are air actually. So air actually prevail naturally, so it's a natural resource. Then we have a phone. Phone are human made. So this is not natural resource. Then we have t-shirt. T-shirt is also not natural resource. Then we have burger. Burgers are human made. So it is also not natural resource. Then we have water. Water prevails naturally, so it's a natural resource. Then we have tree. Tree is also a natural resource. Then we have strawberry. Strawberry grows naturally, so it's a natural resource. Then we have oil. Oil also prevails in nature, so it's a natural resource. Then we have bottle. It's not natural resource. Then we have battery. Battery is man-made, so it's not natural resource. Then we have a animal. It's not. It actually prevail naturally, so it's a natural resource. Then we have a shoe. Shoe actually man-made, so it's not natural resource. So I hope now you're clear with what are natural resource and what are man-made resources. So now we have another activity. So here we have to find out what type of man-made resources can be obtained from these natural resources. So in this side we have some natural resources, and in the box here we have to write what type of natural resources can be obtained from these natural resources. What type of man-made resources can be obtained from this type of natural resources. So firstly we have wood. So from wood, what type of man-made resource we can make? We can make chair, table, chair, table. Again, we have rubber. Rubber is obtained from a certain tree. So from rubber, we can make tire, eraser. Then we have sun. So by the utilizing of sun, we can produce solar energy. That means electricity. Several type of man-made resources can be formed from a certain natural resources. So now we will talk about what are renewable resources. So basically, by the dependency of availability, we can divide resources into another two types. One is renewable resource, another one is non-renewable resource. So firstly, we will see what are renewable resources. So our renewable resource is one that can be used repeatedly and does not run out because it is naturally replaced. So we will find different type of resources in the nature which can be repeatedly used, and we get repeatedly in the nature, like sun. We get sun every day. That means every day sun rises up. So we can get the heat of the sun daily. So these are the resources which are called renewable. Again, we have another example like wind, air, water. So these type of resources are repeatedly used. That means there is no limitation actually. We can get repeatedly after one day. Like we can get daily this type of resources. So these are actually renewable resources. So now we will talk what are non-renewable resources. So our non-renewable resource is a natural substance that is not replaced with the speed at which it is consumed. It is a finite resource. Like again, there are some natural resources which can be obtained again and again. Like after finishing a certain amount, we can't get it immediately after its use. Like we can get sunlight every day, but there are certain resources which can't be obtained daily, like immediately at our need, like coal, mineral oil. Like coal, mineral oil are obtained, are produced by many years. Like it needs to be produced. It needs many years to produce. So we can't get coal, mineral oil, and other things immediately at our need. So these are actually called non-renewable resources. That means the resources which actually are limited. That means cannot be replenished with the speed at which it is consumed. Consumed means the rate we use, and replenished means it can be produced at the same rate. Okay. Now we will see the difference between renewable and non-renewable resources. So firstly, these resources are renewed or replenished by nature in a short span of time, like sun, solar. So we can get sun every day, so we can use it unlimitedly. Again, non-renewable resources may not be replenished by nature or take very long geological time to be formed again. Like coal. So coal actually is a result of many years. Like it needs many years to produce again some amount of coal. So it is, we can see it is actually limited. So often these are available continuously, like solar energy, water. So these are the example of renewable sources. These resources are exhausted after use. Fossil, that means once after we have consumed enough fossils, we can't get immediately another amount of fossil. So this is non-renewable. Renewable resources can be divided into continuous or flow. Non-renewable resources can be recyclable or non-recyclable. So renewable resources can be divided into continuous or flow. That means in continuous flow we can get renewable sources, but non-renewable sources are mainly they are non-recyclable, but sometimes we can recycle non-renewable resources. Now we have an activity again. So in this activity we have to sort out the renewable sources. So firstly we have wind. So wind, we can get wind anytime. Basically the movement of air is called wind, so it's a renewable resource. Then again wood, we can get wood from tree anytime, so wood is also a renewable resource. Then we have oil. So oil can't be produced immediately after its consumption, so it's a non-renewable resource. Then we have coal. We get coal, mineral, natural gas under the underground. So this can't be produced immediately after its use, so it's not renewable resource. Then water, we can get unlimited water from the water bodies, so water is a renewable resource. Then we have solar energy. Solar energy is obtained from the sun, so it's also a renewable source. Then we have minerals, natural gas. So minerals, natural gas are not produced immediately after its use. So minerals or natural gases are the example of non-renewable resources. So by the solving of this activity, I hope now you are clear what are renewable resources and what are non-renewable resources. Okay. So wise use of natural resources. So some we have learned back to now that natural resources are those resources which are obtained from nature. So some of the resources are very limited, again some are unlimited. So we have to use these natural resources wisely, because by the improper use of the natural resources, we can face some problem like reduce environmental pollution. That means by the improper use of natural resource, we can face environmental pollution. So By the proper and wise use of natural resources, we can reduce the rate of environmental pollution. For example, by burning of coal, the air gets contaminated and we face air pollution. So if we use the natural resources wisely, we can reduce this rate of environmental pollution. Then conserve natural resources. So we have learned some source of non-renewable resources which are limited. So we should use this in certain way in a proper amount, and we shouldn't waste it, in order that we can conserve the natural resources. That again we have reuse and then recycle. So we should reuse. We should try to use the sources which are obtained from renewable sources rather than non-renewable sources, that for which we can reuse and recycle them repeatedly. So we should make sure they are wise use of natural resource. Now we will solve a question. So we have which one is a natural resource. So we have four options here. Firstly, sand, glass, paper, electricity. So firstly, electricity is man-made. That means we can't obtain electricity in the nature. It is made by using the human intelligence we have. So electricity is not an example of natural resource. Then paper. So paper is as well obtained from natural resource. It is made by using natural resource, but it is actually made by us. That means the intelligent human being. So it is also not a natural resource. Then we have glass. So glass is a man-made thing that is obtained from natural thing, that is sand. So it is also not a natural resource. Then we have sand. So we human beings are so intelligent, but we have no ability to actually we don't have the ability to compete with the God, with the nature. So yes, nature is not made by human beings. So sand is a natural resource. Now we have another question, that is which resource is limited. So we have water, wind, coal, sun. So firstly, water. Water is unlimited. Like we know, 3/4 of our environment is composed of water. So water can't be limited. So water will not be the answer. Then we have wind. So movement of air is called wind. So wind is also unlimited. So wind also can't be limited resource. Then we have coal. So from the non-renewable resources, we have learned that coal is a non-renewable resource, because after its consumption, we can't immediately produce coal. So here coal is actually limited. And then we have sun. So we can get limited sunlight from the sun, because every day sun rises. So here coal will be the answer. So that's it for the chapter. I hope now you are clear with what are natural resources, what are man-made resources, how natural resources and man-made resources are interrelated, and the dependency of man-made resources on the natural resources. So that is it for the chapter. I hope you have enjoyed the chapter. Thanks for learning.